This is a 2002 BMW X5 with a business CD head unit and DSP. Now, a lot of people ask how they go about installing an aftermarket head unit and come across a problem with not being able to use the DSP amp. From some kind of research they're told, or they think that they have to remove the DSP amp and install an aftermarket amplifier. Not exactly the case. That involves a lot of work. Some people rewire the entire system. Well, there's 14 speakers. I don't know if that includes the subwoofer. In the E38s there's the back subwoofer box, which has 4 tiny little subwoofers in there. This one has one on the passenger side back rear panel there. But actually, in order to continue using the DSP amp, this is the quickest and the easiest integration the route you can take to integrate aftermarket head unit. All I did was just buy the adapter, so you can plug in any unit into the existing harness there. For now I'm going to use a Sony head unit, but I plan on installing an Android 4.0 ice cream sandwich operating system unit in here. It's not the Dynavan ones, it's the new ones that came out. Don't exactly know, I can't tell who the manufacturer is at this point because all the suppliers from China say it's theirs, blah blah blah. But it's the exact same unit. So anyway, in order to trigger the DSP amp to come on, you have to keep the head unit in the loop. Basically the IBus loop. It has to remain there. You're basically tricking the system just to turn on the DSP amp. This X5 did not come with a CD changer, so I just tapped into the IBus and power connector for the CDC. And all you need is just your power, your ground, and your IBus, which is number 9 there. That white, yellow, and gray. And just to show you actually that it still works, okay. Okay. Well, you can play around with the audio levels. Basically, this one has to be at fixed level, or instead of using the high level out on the head unit, you can probably use the line out. I haven't experimented with that yet, so that way it's a fixed level. So I've noticed that when I go from 20 or higher, it starts to get distorted, so I'm just going to keep it at 18. But you can still use your steering wheel controls. However, when you change the stations, it still thinks that the original radio is still plugged in, but there's no sound because it's being bypassed by the aftermarket head unit. You have to keep the MID plugged in. Otherwise, if you unplug it and you turn the vehicle off and you turn it back on, you'll get about 10 seconds, 20 seconds of audio, and then the DSP amp detects that there's a break in the chain there. So basically this is your pretty much the other half of the radio versus a single DIN where it's integrated into one. So basically that's 2 units, and this serves as your display and your controls. So that has to be plugged in. the best place is probably to reroute it into the glove compartment. Now, unless you want to use a single DIN aftermarket head unit, you can keep the MID there. But if you plan on using a different aftermarket unit, such as the one that I'm going to put, which is a navigation one, 7-inch screen, I'm going to have to find out where to put this, which most likely, like I said, I'm going to put into the glove compartment there. So we'll switch to a different CD there. This one's ABBA. The only thing that you can adjust is the fade, because that's done by the DSP amp. You only have your left and right input coming from the main head unit. But, I mean, if you want to adjust that, all you have to do is just hit the tone button in the back of where the head unit is, or wherever it's located, and then basically adjust the settings to your liking, and then just leave it at that. But otherwise, you know, if you do the other method, which a lot of people think that they can't use a DSP amp, they have to rewire the entire system and run wires from the head unit all the way to each individual speakers. But there's 14, including the tweeters and the subwoofer. I don't know if the subwoofer is 15, but or from the back where the harness terminates, and then from there install an aftermarket amplifier, and then from there crossovers going to each individual speaker and tweeter. But that's very time consuming. All this took me is just about maybe half hour to basically crimp. Let me pull this out here. Okay, caught there. Just to crimp the harness adapter, and then the three pins on the CDC connector. Plug it in, and that's it. To me, it's a much simpler process and the quickest. You can still have your DSP settings, which, in my opinion, doesn't really work with the aftermarket, the way that it's processed. You'd probably have to adjust all settings to be flat in order to get similar DSP effect from the original BMW head unit. But anyway, that's just me showing that you can still use existing DSP amp. Credits to Tony B from Beamer Board, working with Kiwi Joshin and I believe Brian from the board in regards to their theory, and I guess Tony B was the one that basically executed the process and actually showed that it does work. He installed a single DIN navigation, I believe, or a 7-inch DVD head unit. He has an E38 and used the same single DIN slot and still kept the MID in his car and the DSP processor. So that way he can still adjust the fade from his MID. And he mounted the original cassette head unit where the CDC bracket was in the back. He eliminated the CD changer, which is exactly what I did, was use the CDC connector in the back to keep the head unit in the loop. So that's it.